Alex Eala. Like,
Oh my gosh.
she's already popular.
What if I told you that the loudest moment at the Washington Open didn't happen after a championship point? It didn't happen during a trophy ceremony. It didn't happen after a shocking upset. It happened before a second-round match had even started. Long before the first serve was struck, thousands of people had already turned a normal day of tennis into something they would never forget. They weren't just waiting for a match. They were waiting for one player. And as the crowd kept growing, one question kept moving through the stadium. Who is Alex Eala? And why is everyone here just to see her? That question spread from row to row as more people poured through the gate. Some had followed Alex for years. Others had only heard her name recently. But by the time she stepped onto the practice court, everyone inside could feel it. This wasn't a normal second-round match. Something bigger was happening. Hours before the gates opened, groups of fans were already waiting outside. Many wore the colors of the Philippines. Flags appeared everywhere, blue, red, white and yellow, long before play even began. Families took photos together. Kids carried tennis rackets, hoping for an autograph. Friends who had traveled together shared stories about following Alex since her junior days. For many of them, this wasn't just another stop on the tennis calendar. It was a chance to watch a player who had become a source of pride for an entire nation. Some fans had driven for hours just to be there. Others had crossed state lines. A few even admitted they booked flights the moment the schedule was announced. They weren't thinking about rankings or stats. They just wanted to witness another chapter of Alex Eala's story with their own eyes. Outside the stadium, social media was already flooding with photos and videos of the crowd. Fans posted selfies next to Philippine flags. Others filmed people lining up before the gates even opened. Every new post pulled in more attention until people who weren't even at the tournament were asking the same question. Why is there so much excitement for one player? Inside the venue, that same curiosity was spreading fast. American tennis fans who came expecting a quiet afternoon suddenly found themselves surrounded by pure energy. They saw families in matching shirts with Alex's name on them. They heard chants starting before warm-ups even began. Every conversation around them was about the same young Filipina. Many of these fans had never watched her play before. Some pulled out their phones to look up highlights. Others turned to strangers nearby and asked, "Who is she? What's her story?" Within minutes, people were explaining how Alex had inspired millions back home, her calm personality, her relentless work ethic, her fearless attitude against some of the best players in the world. It didn't take long for curiosity to turn into real interest. That's the effect Alex Eala creates everywhere she plays. Her popularity isn't built only on wins. It isn't built only on rankings or headlines. People connect with the way she carries herself. Win or lose, she plays with quiet confidence, respects every opponent, and never lets the pressure of the moment change who she is. Those qualities are impossible to ignore. As more seats filled up, even longtime tennis fans noticed how unusual the atmosphere had become. Washington has hosted countless big matches over the years, but this felt different. Every section was alive. Every gate kept letting in more people. Instead of slowly building through the afternoon, the energy arrived all at once. The stadium felt like it was preparing for a final, not an early round match. Then, without any big announcement, the moment everyone had been waiting for finally came. Alex Eala walked out of the players' tunnel. The reaction was instant. Thousands of fans jumped to their feet at the same time. Cheers rolled across the stadium like a wave. Philippine flags shot up into the air. Hundreds of phones pointed toward the court, everyone trying to capture the moment for themselves. Even fans who didn't know her couldn't help but smile. The energy was impossible to escape. And how did Alex respond? With a simple wave. No dramatic celebration. No trying to milk the moment. She smiled politely at the crowd, then calmly walked to her side of the court, already focused on the match ahead. That quiet confidence made the moment feel even bigger. While the stadium buzzed, Alex stayed completely locked in. Every movement in her warm-up looked relaxed and controlled. She stretched, worked on her footwork, hit a few easy rallies. The noise around her didn't touch her. Meanwhile, the cameras kept cutting back to the crowd. The crowd itself had become part of the story. Commentators started talking about the turnout, pointing out how Alex's fan base had been growing all season. What started as curiosity months earlier had turned into real admiration. More fans were discovering not just her talent, but her discipline and her humility. But as impressive as the atmosphere looked, Nobody yet knew if Alex could match that same energy once the match actually started. And what happened after the first ball was struck changed everything. From the very first rally, Alex Eala looked completely at home. She wasn't forcing winners, she wasn't rushing points, she trusted the game that had brought her this far. Every step was balanced. Every swing had a purpose. Every decision showed patience. She wasn't just playing her opponent, she was controlling the entire rhythm of the match. The crowd noticed it instantly. Every clean winner brought a roar. Every impossible defensive save brought applause. And every point she fought, for even the ones she lost, made people respect her even more. There was something refreshing about a player who never gave up on a single ball. Instead of getting frustrated after a mistake, she reset calmly and moved on to the next point. That composure started spreading through the crowd. People weren't just reacting to great shots anymore. They were reacting to her attitude. Kids started shouting her name between points. Flags kept waving from every corner. Even people sitting high up in the stands leaned forward every time a rally stretched a little longer, sensing something big was coming. What started as curiosity before the match had turned into full admiration. Cameras caught smiling faces everywhere in the stand. Families celebrated together. Friends hugged after long rallies. Even people wearing neutral colors found themselves clapping louder than they expected to. It wasn't because Alex was putting on a show. It was because she was giving the crowd something they always want. Honest effort. And that kind of energy spreads fast. As the match went on, the stadium got louder with every game. Every hold of serve felt important. Every return game carried extra tension. Every time Alex walked to the baseline to serve, thousands of eyes followed her. Even the silence before each point felt as powerful as the cheers after it. You could feel the whole stadium holding its breath together. The commentators noticed it too. They talked about how unusual this atmosphere was for this stage of a tournament. They talked about how far her support had grown well beyond just the Filipino community. More and more fans were discovering what made her different. She wasn't winning people over with loud celebrations or big emotional outbursts. She let her tennis and her character do the talking. That combination was creating something rare. With every game, more neutral fans found themselves cheering for her, almost without noticing. At first, they clapped for good rallies from both sides, but slowly, their reactions became impossible to hide. When Alex won a point, the cheers lasted a little longer. When she chased down an impossible ball, people jumped out of their seats. When she fought through tough moments without panicking, respect kept building. The scoreboard still mattered, but somehow, it stopped being the biggest story in the stadium. The real story was happening all around it. Thousands of strangers from different backgrounds were sharing the exact same feeling. They came expecting to watch a professional tennis match. Instead, they were watching a player build a connection with an entire crowd, point by point. And then something shifted. It wasn't one incredible winner. It wasn't an argument with the umpire. It wasn't a lucky net cord. It was something bigger than all of that. The crowd stopped acting like spectators. They started acting like believers. Every time Alex won a hard-fought rally, the reaction got louder than before. Every time she showed that trademark determination, more people joined in. Even fans who walked in knowing nothing about her were now on their feet, cheering every point. That was the exact moment the atmosphere changed completely. This was no longer just about winning a tennis match. It had become about a player earning the respect of an entire stadium. And here's the part that made it even more powerful. Alex never changed. She didn't pump her fist after every point. She didn't turn to the crowd asking for more noise. She stayed focused. She stayed calm. She stayed locked on the next point and only the next point. Ironically, that quiet confidence made the fans support her even harder. Because greatness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the player who stays calm while thousands of people around her are losing their voices. But as incredible as the atmosphere already was, the biggest moment of the day still hadn't come. And what happened next left even the commentators searching for words. The match kept building game after game. Each rally felt louder than the last. Every point carried a little more weight. Every cheer echoed a little longer around the stadium. By now, nobody was checking their phones. Nobody was leaving for snacks. Every eye stayed locked on the court because everyone sensed the same thing. They were watching something special unfold in real time. Alex kept playing with that same calm confidence from the very first point. She never rushed. She never looked overwhelmed. She trusted her preparation, stayed disciplined, and focused on one rally at a time. That mindset started inspiring the people watching. It reminded everyone that confidence doesn't need to be loud to be real. Sometimes the strongest competitors are the quietest ones. As the pressure rose, so did the respect inside the stadium. Long rallies ended in standing ovations. Great shots got applause from both sides. Even when it was her opponent hitting the winner, Alex acknowledged it and moved straight to the next point. That kind of sportsmanship doesn't go unnoticed. Commentators praised her maturity, fans admired her composure, and young players sitting in the stands were watching a live lesson in how champions carry themselves under pressure. At that moment, the scoreboard almost felt secondary. Yes, people wanted Alex to win, but they were watching something bigger than the result. They were watching a symbol of hope. For many Filipino families in the stadium, Alex represented years of dreaming that someone from their country could compete confidently on tennis's biggest stages. Parents pointed toward the court, quietly telling their kids her story. Young players watched her every move, picturing themselves standing in that same spot one day. That kind of influence can't be measured by ranking. It can't be measured by trophies. It can't even be measured by wins alone. It's measured by how many people walk away believing their own dreams suddenly feel possible. That was happening all around the stadium. The noise never really stopped. Every big point brought another explosion of cheers. Every gutsy sprint brought another wave of applause. Even the neutral fans who came without picking a side were now cheering her best moments like everyone else. Some smiled, some stood up. Many just shook their heads in disbelief. Without even realizing it, thousands of strangers had become part of the same story. And maybe that was the most unforgettable part of the whole afternoon. Before the match, people came expecting entertainment. They left with inspiration. Because Alex wasn't trying to be the center of attention, she earned it naturally. Through discipline, through humility, through relentless effort. Those qualities connect with people far beyond tennis. Long after the last point, conversations in the stadium weren't just about the score. Fans talked about the sea of Philippine flags. They talked about the energy that started building from the very first warm-up. But mostly, they talked about Alex Eala. Many first-time fans admitted they finally understood the hype. The question they'd asked before the match, why is everyone here for her, had finally been answered. Not through interviews, not through stats, but through what they saw with their own eyes. Because some athletes earn fans through winning. Others earn them through personality. The rarest ones earn them just by the way they compete. Alex belongs in that last group. Every tournament she plays introduces her to new fans. Every appearance brings more people who admire not just her talent, but the quiet confidence she carries with her everywhere she goes. That's why the excitement around her keeps growing. That's why stadiums keep filling with people who just want to watch her story unfold. The Washington Open wasn't unforgettable because of one single point. It wasn't unforgettable because of one incredible winner. It became unforgettable because a normal second-round match felt like a championship final. Thousands of voices, hundreds of waving flags, one young Filipina standing calmly in the middle of all of it. Moments like this don't happen every week. They can't be forced. They can't be manufactured. They happen naturally when a player earns the trust, respect, and belief of everyone watching. And maybe that's Alex Eala's greatest achievement so far. Not just inspiring Filipino fans, not just impressing tennis experts, but bringing together people from different countries, different backgrounds, different generations, even if only for a few hours, to cheer for the same dream. Because years from now, people may forget the exact score of that match. They may forget the individual rallies. They may even forget who stood across the net from her. But they will remember the feeling inside that stadium. They will remember the thunder of the applause. They will remember thousands of fans on their feet before the match had even reached its biggest moment. And they will remember one young Filipina who walked onto the court with quiet confidence and walked away with something even more valuable than a result. She walked away with the admiration of an entire stadium because that day, Alex Eala didn't just play tennis. She reminded everyone watching that greatness isn't only measured by trophies. Sometimes, greatness is measured by how many people believe in your journey before you've even reached the finish line.